Hello and welcome to Code and Magic channel. In the last episode, we talked about variables and operators. In this video, we're going to talk about how we can get input from user. So imagine I have a message like, please enter your name. And in C# we have functions. The functions can do stuff for us. So here you see I'm using the function WriteLine here, the method WriteLine here, and the methods can get inputs. Like here, the WriteLine is getting a string and returns void, which is basically nothing. But sometimes function can get nothing but returns something else. For example, Console.ReadLine. The readLine is another function which takes nothing but returns a string. So here, because the function is returning something, I can store it in a variable. So if I have a variable called string name, so when this function runs, it stores the return value here. So I can use this variable. Like if I run the program here, you see that please enter your name. For example, I press Peter, but then program's finished because I'm not using the name variable. And for example, I can have a console.WriteLine here which says your name is the name that you just entered. Peter, what is your name? Please enter your name, Peter, and says your name is Peter. Okay, this is how we get input from user. We have another function. This one is returning a string, like the whole line. But we have another function which returns console.readKey. This one basically returns a character. Basically, the first key that you press, you get that key and return it. You see that the return type is console key info. So let's see, what is that? Console key info. And if I come here, it says it is a struct. And basically a struct is a data type that we can use to create different types for ourselves. We will learn about a struct and class in the next tutorials, but this one is a struct which basically contains some data. But if I want to, let's see how it works. I can say, please enter a key. And if I run the program, first it says, please enter your name. I say Peter, and it says, please enter key. But the moment I press a key, it gets the input. I don't need to press enter anymore. So I pressed M and the program finished. If I want to print the key, I can say you entered key. But because key itself is a struct, it doesn't. If I just write this, like print this, it says you entered console key info, but I need to see what was the data, what was the key, exactly what was it that I pressed. So if I press that, I can see a list of things that I can do here. There's something called key char that basically contains the character that you just pressed. So let's see how it works. When I run the program, I press Peter as name. I just press a key, for example, M. It says, when I pressed M, it says you entered M. So basically, this is the behavior of the read key function. It doesn't break the line, so I have to break the line whenever I get input from user by read key function. For breaking the line, I can have a empty WriteLine function. So when I run again, Peter M, in the next line it says you entered M. Okay, perfect. So there are two ways to getting input from user, read line, read key. But readLine, as you see, the function returns a string. But what if I want to return, but what if I want to have an integer instead of a string, for example, the age of a character? Well, that's easy. In C# we have a function called int.parse, which is another function. As you see, it takes a string and converts it to an integer. So I can use this function. For example, here I say, please enter your age. And then in the next line, I say string age str equals to console.readLine. And whatever I enter, it will be stored in the age str. And then I can use int.parse to store it as integer. Int age equals to parse age str. Like, why we do this? Because imagine, like, maybe instead of age str, like, imagine whatever you enter will be stored something like this. This is a string. This is not an integer. So we need to turn it into something like this. So that's why we use the parse function. So whenever a user enters something, I parse it to an integer. So after that, I can print name is age years old. You remember that we used a string concat. We can concat a string together to have a specific message. So if I run the program again, look, just imagine what is happening. First, I'm entering the name of the user, and then I'm just pressing a key to see, just for example, to see how read key works, and then I'm getting the age of a string, age of the user as a string, and then I parse it using this function to an integer. Let's see how it works. Okay, what is your name? Peter. I just press a key. And then what is your age? Please enter your age. I say this time 60. And it says Peter is 60 years old. Well, the main reason that we are converting a string to an integer is that because you can do some processing for an integer. For example, if your program has some age restriction, you can say, okay, if user is more than 18 years old, do something. If it's less than that, do something else. So you can have some operations based on integer, but you cannot do that operation for a string. Well, that's how we get input from user and how we convert it to an integer. Thank you for watching. If you have any question or concern, don't forget to write it in the comment section. And if you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button. See you in the next video.